Welcome to the Nobody Knowz podcast with Callie Zamzo. Join us for conversations with local changemakers and hear the stories that don't always get told. It'll be honest, messy and beautiful, touching and humorous. Slow down, pour a glass, and pull up a chair. This is the Nobody Knowz podcast.
Welcome to Nobody Knowz. I'm your host, Callie Zamzo. I hope you're having a good day, and thank you for listening today. I want to thank our sponsor, Zamzo's, for supporting today's episode. And actually, I'm going to start off with a tip of the week. This actually comes from one of our assistant managers of one of our stores. His name is Logan Bradley. And I'm just going to read what he sent to me. So he says, "Hi, Callie. I just wanted to share my tip of the week. I like to mulch my leaves into my lawn instead of bagging them up and disposing of them. Leaves are a super important part of the nutrient cycling process, bringing minerals from deep in the soil to the surface. And as a bonus, mulching them provides some food for our earthworm friends." So I love this. We had a tip, I think a couple of weeks ago, where I talked about getting the leaves off of your yard. But it's true, if you can get them small enough, if you can chop them up small enough and mulch them into your yard, that will blend with the greens of the grass clippings, and you will have like basically a mini compost pile right there in your own yard. So this is a wonderful idea. Definitely helps build humus, which is that dark, rich component of the soil. And that improves aeration and root penetration and water retention. So this is a great tip. So thank you, Logan, for that tip. And hopefully that's helpful to those of you who are still kind of working through the end of the season here with our grass. And remember that these things that we do right now are some of the most important things for getting ready for next spring. So there's that. Okay, so we have a wonderful guest today who happens to already be a friend of mine, these are fun podcasts for me because I'm just feel like I'm in the studio with a pal. So I'm excited about this. I want to start off by talking about special places in the valley that have been designed well, and specifically outdoor spaces. And I was thinking about some of the places that I love the best, and I realized I was really overthinking it, to be honest with you. And then I realized, Callie, you go walking with so it's now my mother and my father and my Aunt Katie, my mom's twin sister, and my Aunt Karen, who's my dad's sister, and then my husband and I, and we walk regularly at Esther Simplot Park. And it's such a wonderful place to walk. There are all these different pathways. You can go, there's dirt pathways along the river. You can be on paved pathways. You can go over bridges. And you can watch the people who are surfing in the river there. That's one of the things that's there. It's a wonderful space and beautifully designed. And I was thinking about how much of an impact that has made on my family, that we do this now and that we have this space that we can all meet, and that every one of us of all ages have no problem getting around, and we can all walk together. And so that was kind of what I was thinking about. And I'll be curious a little bit to hear what our guest has to say today. So please welcome into our studio today, Matthew Adams. I never called you Matthew ever, but I can today if you'd like me to. I just call you Matt. Is that cool?
Matt's great.
All right,
Thanks.
Very good. Welcome to the studio. I'm so glad that you're here. So you are, I'm going to get this correct here because I never think about your title either, but you're principal and landscape architect at the Land Group.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Callie. It's great to see you.
Yes, it's good to see you too. Thank you for being here. I have wanted you to be in this studio for quite some time. So thank you for the patience and for making it in today. This is good.
We've been meeting and having coffee and practicing for a long time.
We have.
We didn't know it.
That's true. But this time I get to kind of ask you questions about your job. And for full disclosure, I actually met Matt because we needed your help. We had one of our stores where there was some construction going on in front of it, and we were having to redesign what our parking lot looked like and kind of the layout of the whole. And we needed your help desperately because it completely changed the front of our store, and you guys helped us, and it was wonderful, really fun. You're a fun person, and your team is really fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was a great project because I shop at that store, the Chinden store,
Yeah.
and so I get to see it every week.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. So thank you. I think I've thanked you for helping us with that.
And you paid us.
That's true. There's that. There is that. Okay, so before we get going into landscape architecture and lots of other things that I want to talk to you about today, could you just give us a quick history, just kind of tell us who you are and how you got to this point?
Sure. So I am a landscape architect. I'm very proud of that. The path to that profession, I guess, was not ever anything I ever thought about. So I grew up in Rupert, in a farming family, and my parents had gone to U of I, were farming. I have 4 brothers, and I think or assume I'm going to go into agriculture. But I guess in high school, I decided civil engineering was the job for me. And my mom was very proud of this. She thought I would design bridges. Oh. I think that's a mother thing. So I went to Utah State University. It was very nearby. This actually was a huge departure for my family because everybody was a Vandal in my family. And since I've had brother, cousins, nephews go to Utah State. So that was interesting. Go to Utah State. I'm in civil engineering, and I guess I felt like maybe these aren't my people. I took a introduction to landscape architecture class, and I thought, these are my people. It felt right, and I dove into that. Went to Sacramento, California for my first job. I graduated in 2000, and at that time there weren't a tremendous number of jobs in Idaho. It was just starting to ramp up. Went to California, worked there for an incredible company and a great mentor, Steve Kanata, who was also a Utah State grad, and then made my way back to Idaho. We wanted to be closer to family for our kids, and now I'm here working.
Doing more than working.
Right. I'm here, being in the community.
How long have you been with the land group?
20 years this year.
Wow.
In July.
Wow. I didn't even know the answer to that. And that was a great question to ask because this is a big year.
So I've been practicing for 25 years, 20 at the land group. So, I've only had 2 grown-up jobs my whole life. One in Sacramento for HLA group, and then now at the land group.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know that. That's interesting. So can you, for those of us who maybe have not worked with you before to know kind of what you do, can you explain what landscape architecture is? Because I think people maybe hear architect and it's like, okay, well, that's this. But landscape architecture is it's a little different.
Oh, and I love landscape architecture. So landscape architects, we are trained to design everything outside of the building. And everything, right? So we don't do buildings, but we do the site. And we really work hard to create, I guess, a space that is comfortable, welcoming, thoughtfully designed, easy to navigate. Landscape architects do more than just planting design and irrigation design. We, in addition to being trained to design site layout, we're also trained to kind of be the facilitator of a extensive team of designers or team of experts. So many times we want to be in charge of the whole team and bring in all the different skills and knowledge, and then help that group coordinate so they can pull off a great project, right? So that could be civil engineers, electrical engineers, biologists, historians. But in practice, we work for architects very, very often, and we have great collaborative working relationship with them as well.
Yeah. I was amazed with our project, the depths, literally, that we had to go to. I mean, there was a whole, discussion about the parking lot, and I always just think about you just have a piece of land and you flatten the whole thing out, and then you throw some asphalt on it and you got yourself a parking lot. There's so much more to it than that.
Right. Your job was really fun because we were trying to think, what's the customer experience from the moment they are on Chinden, pulling in, parking their car, walking to the store? Is it clear where the door is from where I've parked? Is there an opportunity for product as they walk toward the store? All those things, right? Could my aging parents go without any problem? Could a mom take her children to the store? Like, all those things were in our minds. And so many times I got stuck behind a camper getting propane at the Chinnen store.
Yes.
So one of the really important things is we moved the propane.
Yeah.
That was just for me.
It all comes out. That's awesome.
Right.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
And actually, we've received wonderful comments about that very thing. It's just
Okay,
so
great.
much better to have it in a different location.
Yeah.
So
Good.
yeah, that was fantastic.
But I mean, the most successful thing and what landscape architecture, the reason I love it is from that project, you and I became acquainted, became friends. We have this great friendship and relationship. And that's what it's been for me for 25 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder about that. You know, like in your own head, you're like, well, I'm special. But I suspect that you probably have a whole bunch of people that because you guys, your whole team are relationship. Like, it's all about relationship. I don't know how you would do your job if you guys were not able to develop relationships, because there's so much going into it. And honestly, at least with our project, it was stressful for us, and we didn't understand, so my husband and I were the primary people working on that project. We had never done anything like that before in our lives. And when you guys came in, it was like the skies opened up and a beam of light came down, and we were like, these guys know what they're doing. And you guided us with things that, like, I would have never guessed the landscape architect would be doing for us. And you did that. And now I understand, I guess that's part of what you do, because you
Right.
understand the puts and takes of these things, especially when people don't do it very often.
There are landscape architects who specialize in planting design or aesthetics, I guess. And that's not really me. I specialize in kind of this facilitation and function, I
Yeah.
suppose. And I really do think great design is functional.
Yes.
So I get excited about the bulk bin layout, or we do a lot of K through 12 schools. And I feel like I'm good at, like, how does the bus move through the site? What's the parent drop off? The very functional things that make the experience good for the users that are
Yeah.
there.
You did a whole, I'm going to call it a study. I don't know if that's but you did this whole thing with a diagram where you actually showed how a semi could move through
Right.
our whole park, and our semi driver was like, thank you for doing that, because it's been a nightmare getting in and out of there all these years. And he's like, could you have him do that with all of our parking lots?
I love that. That's good feedback.
Yes. Yeah, he was particular, and he loved it that we were asking about his feedback. Like, tell us,
Right.
tell us how this is going. And I don't know that we would have even been thinking about that if you hadn't brought it to our attention.
Yeah, it's so important what we do. I often think about who are the forgotten people. Mm-hmm. We do these projects, and if we're good at it, if we're thoughtful, we're going to think about custodians. We're going to think about semi-drivers.
Mm-hmm.
For schools in particular, which we have done several of, there's a custodian that needs to take the trash out in the dark, in the winter, at 10 p.m. or whatever, right? And we need to think about that person, and they're equally as important as the principal or the parents or the students or the kitchen staff. How do they get into the building at 4 a.m.? So I really like this idea of thinking about who gets forgotten and how can we then make them the center of our process.
It's so cool. Yeah, takes it to a whole new different level.
Yeah.
It's
And
awesome.
that's landscape architecture,
Yeah.
which is funny, right?
Yes, it's honestly not what I
Right.
thought it would be. Well, so tell us about, so we've talked about our parking lot. I'm sure.
That's not the whole show.
True. It's not the whole show. But you guys have helped design parks. I was recently at an outdoor area up at Hillcrest. I think that you guys helped do some
yes, we
designing.
did that.
Yeah. But so you have, like, your marks are all across the valley. What are some of your favorite projects that you've worked on that you're particularly proud of?
So my career at the land group and in this valley has really been dominated by kind of K-12 education.
Okay.
That's most of what I've done. I've also done some retail stuff, some parks. Some of the things I'm most proud of, I mean, really these schools. I did Middleton High School Ridgeview High School, and Owyhee High School.
Okay.
And when I think about those places, I mean, what really comes to mind, schools are really formative for people. Like your lifelong memories start at your high school.
Absolutely.
And playgrounds too, like elementary schools, we do playground design. Some kids only go to school because they know they get to go to recess.
So my husband was that way.
Right. So we really want to create a great experience for those kids. And for the yard duty, the teacher who has to be out there like observing. We think about that too. But those three schools stand out to me as great places. And I don't want to be corny, but it's like you create a space, an entry courtyard space at a high school. And there are kids who will get their first boyfriend, girlfriend there, get their heart broken there. You'll have a grandparent come to a performance. And if you can create a space where that person can easily make it inside and enjoy that moment, I think we've done great work. So that's why those stand out to me.
Yeah. I feel like I should go back because I just said that my husband only went to school to play on the playground. And he, I'm pretty sure he also liked the education part. I know because he tells a story about the fact that his mom would pack him a lunch every day and he would throw the lunch away and run outside because he didn't want to waste the lunch hour eating when he could be outside. Sorry, Marcia. It's my mother-in-law. I hope she's not learning that for the first time.
On my team, I have people who say they went to school just for recess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they were competitive. They wanted to be out there and win whatever game they were creating.
Yeah. Red Rover kind of ruined all of that for me, but I didn't like that game.
They don't play that anymore.
Right. I stopped playing that years ago, decades ago, I dare I say. Okay, so when I think about these projects, and it was true with ours too, lots and lots of perspectives. At least when you're dealing with a company, you're dealing with some perspectives within the company, and hopefully we can get our act together and make some decisions. When you're dealing with a public situation, you've got so many people that have ideas and thoughts and opinions, and how do you juggle that? How do you manage that?
That's a great question too.
Do you find that people eventually kind of come to an understanding and it becomes easier?
The important thing to keep in mind is to approach all jobs landscape architects do. We should. Not everyone does, but we should approach them with humility. So all ideas, all input is valuable. And so we need to be in a listening mode early, right? And I think just listening and letting every stakeholder, every perspective have an opportunity to voice their opinion or what their experience is, that's really important. Now, as you go through the process and you hear those things, the important specific perspectives or needs for the project will kind of come to the top. I guess for us, experience and formal training can help with that, right?
Yeah.
So we need to draw out what's really important about a project. You can't do everything. You can't afford everything. But I guess you do need to listen to all those perspectives. So there's Matt at work in a meeting and there's Matt at home. And at home I'm ranting about perspectives and which ones are valuable and not valuable. We get conflicting goals all the time. So we think of it like even within like the client will have contradictions in themselves, right? So I think of it as a project, and I tell new staff, you have 3 levers you can pull. You have schedule, quality, and budget. You only can control 2 of those things. And sometimes you have to educate the client on that too.
Oh yeah, you had to educate us a lot.
If they want the best design quickly, you have no control over budget. And then you can think of it the other way. If you want it within a budget and you want it on time, well, then quality might have to be the variable, right? So I think it's just being honest with people. When there's conflicting ideas, you have to just say, okay, we've heard these ideas, but what is the purpose of the project?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, I bet you get some interesting conversations around that. Because I remember, I actually, as you were saying that, I'm like, oh yeah, I think he said this to us. 'Cause there was a point, I think that we were like, we really want this. And you're like, okay, well, but here's the deal. You do have a timeline. So,
Yeah. And the biggest conflicts we get are probably neighbors for new projects. That's a really difficult and challenging part of our work right now. Is the perspective of neighbors to a project is very important.
Yeah.
So we do housing, we do subdivision platting. Well, if you want to be unpopular in the community, represent a developer for a new plat for 300 plus homes, right? And while we need housing, everybody wants to live in this community. A lot of people, once they're here, they think, okay, that's it. Let's shut the gates.
Right.
That's not reality.
No, it's not.
So we need to listen to those neighbors. We need to understand their concerns, and we need to be honest with them about what we can or can't do to help solve those problems. Sometimes we can't do anything.
Yeah.
But we can at least hear them, and we can understand what they're up against.
Yeah. I remember with our with thing at Zamzo's where and the whole Shinden thing, there was so much pressure from the community because they had widened the road, and then it narrowed right in front of Zamzo's, and then it went back right again. And people were writing us hate mail about like, get your act together. It was not in our control. There were certain things that like, it takes time. Things take time. And it just, I think because of the pond and it's a strange piece of land.
Right.
It wasn't as straightforward as all the other, acquisitions. And so none of us were, including ACHD or whoever it was that we were talking to, we all just had to go through the process. But man, people were so mad at us. They thought for sure we were trying to hold out for $1 billion or something. And we were just trying to figure the situation out alongside, ACHD and like make the thing happen. So yeah. It was an interesting.
There's nothing like being in your car in this valley to make you wound up, right? To get you, to motivate you to write a letter to someone.
Absolutely. And honest to goodness, we were annoyed too. Like every time we were driving down Shinden, like truly, it's like, no, the one nice thing is the people had to slow down and see our business, but those
right, they could read the marquee and remember it's time to do the Thrive.
Exactly. But no, it wasn't worth it. I wouldn't recommend that as a way of advertising. But
right.
So you were just the last thing you were saying was I was talking about growth in the community as part of what you just last said. Can we talk about that a little bit, because this community has grown tremendously. So how do you create new spaces and still feel like connected to the people and create in a thoughtful way? Because in the designing of things right now, you are kind of creating this new city that we're living in.
Right.
So how does that work?
Okay, I love this question because I think so there is a bit of divergence in the landscape architecture community or the design community. You're talking about what some people call placemaking. Mm-hmm. So many designers, we want to create a place that supports a certain type of use, brings the community together, and you have certain goals. You want to energize the community. Yeah. That's a term used a lot. But I prefer this idea of placekeeping. And I think it goes to your question and to Idaho and to the Treasure Valley. So placekeeping is the idea that places have a culture, they have a history, they have a story to tell. And we can hold on to that, we can protect that, we can keep that, but we can adapt the place to meet the current needs of the community. So I like this idea of placekeeping, and I guess when we start a project, we want to know about the place. We don't want to just. I think it's a low ego or a no ego approach, right? What is this place? What does it want to be? What has it always been? Can that support the new proposed use? So I have a subdivision project in Meridian, and we've worked really hard in the common areas and the amenity spaces to tell a story of agriculture, because those are so rare now in Meridian, right?
Yeah.
There's a few little parcels with some cows on them. There's a couple silos here and there. But yeah, we're trying to tell the story of the place and keep a little bit of the Idaho in that place.
Does that
answer your question?
Yeah. Well, and now I've got an offshoot question.
Okay.
I'm trying to form it in my head.
I prepared, and now none of these questions.
And this is a real doozy because I can't think of, it's just how I'm going to phrase it. So have there ever been like a location, like sometimes there's just, I'm just going to call it like a stinker location, not like the stinker stations, but like a real stinker kind of a thing. You know what I mean? Where you're like, there's just something like maybe the juju is off with the energy, or maybe it's just in a strange location or something. Has there been a place like that you have had to go in and help kind of turn around? And maybe it wasn't a stinker, but maybe it's just like unique or challenging, or there was something surrounding the project that was more difficult.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, we get projects that have different levels of difficulty, complexity. Sometimes I think what you're describing is you'll have a parcel or a piece of land, and the developer or the client wants to promote a use that doesn't fit.
Right. And I guess what I'm thinking of is like, I can imagine somebody saying, okay, I've got this, it's a half an acre. Let's turn it into a park. And you're like, it's a half an acre. Right. And it's right in the middle of this. And so, but if that's what they want out of it and it's their parcel, then.
Yes and no. So I'm struggling to come up with a specific example, but I think the important thing is here as a professional, I think our job is to be honest. So many times we do have clients come to us, they want to do projects. It is our obligation professionally and as part of this community to tell them when it's not a good idea, which is interesting because people come and you're only going to get paid if you do the job.
Right.
And sometimes we tell a client, this is not a good idea.
Yeah. Oh, I know you do that because I think there's a couple of things that we thought were a good idea and you're like, okay. But the other thing you're really good at is explaining why. You didn't just say, you guys are up in the night and you're idiots, so I can't even explain it to you. You took the time to say, here's why. And a lot of it's like, there's jurisdiction here. If you do that, it's going to start a domino effect. And so then once you explain it, we're like, oh, okay, well then I guess we're not doing that.
And sometimes you're just up against zoning.
Yes.
And zoning code could be a whole nother show. But it's good, it's bad, it has problems, it has a history, but zoning dictates what land use is allowed.
It absolutely does. And that's part of the Chinden property. It's this whole issue with being part of the county versus annexed into the city.
Right.
And so there's totally different sets of rules and pluses and minuses to both. And so you kind of have to make a decision which direction you're either going to stay here or you're going to, so anyway, yeah, that was a whole process that was, again, such a learning experience for us.
Yeah, we'd run into the dud projects now and then, or the really challenging sites. I think, but we dig in, we try to find what's possible, and we try to help the client be successful, even if that means they decide to abandon the project.
Yeah. I think we did a couple times. There were a couple things that we abandoned. And then you're like, okay, but we have to keep going.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, that's right. We're done with this.
We can't give up.
Yeah, you can't give up. We got to figure this thing out. All right. So when you're starting a new project, what inspires you the most? Like, is it the land? Is it the people? Is it the potential? Is it the paycheck?
It's
that was loaded.
It's the people. It is absolutely the people. Now, I don't want to sound like I'm totally altruistic. We are a for-profit business. We have to make money because I have 50 employees.
Oh, yeah.
And so every 2 weeks, we got to make payroll.
Yep.
Right? That's very important as well, I think. So we don't lose sight of that. But when we get a new project, the people at, I guess, a few different levels. One is this idea that, okay, I get to pull a team together and we get to work through a process and enjoy spending time together, right? Which is so much fun. So the client, my coworkers, other consultants, the contractor, the agency people, it's all really enjoyable to spend time with them. But I also think about, well, what could happen at this place? Like, people again. So my career has not been defined by creating the most beautiful spaces ever. That's not really my specialty. We have people in our office that do that, and I like to get them on my team, right? But I'm thinking about, well, how can a person live their life in this space and have some amazing day or moment? So that's what gets me really excited about it.
I knew that about you.
Yeah.
I'm glad
Is
now
there a
that other people-
theme? Are we picking up a theme?
Well, and when we began the project at Chinden and we were so lost and didn't really know what we were doing, it was so surprising to me how fun it was to meet with you guys, to brainstorm, even the difficult decisions. We still made fun. We still laughed about things. We still found joy in all of it. And when I think about that whole process, it was very, very stressful. And yet I think of it in a positive light. It was enjoyable for me. And I think it was the people. I think it was working with you. It was the people, your contacts, the people you put us into contact with, and yeah, your team. Really fun.
Thanks
fun
for
team.
that.
Yeah. Chad's amazing.
Lorenzen was amazing. Is amazing.
Yes.
What I recall about that is each person you encounter has their quirks, I guess, or their unique personality traits. Everybody on that project did. Everybody on every project. But we like celebrated that. We like enjoyed that your contractor was a quirky guy. I won't say any names. We had representatives for ITD that were quirky.
Yes.
So then you fast forward, you're a few years beyond, and you just remember these amazing, funny moments, interesting people. And it was important that the project didn't go too fast. So we did get a moment to actually get to know people.
Yeah.
And create a friendship.
Absolutely. When I think back on that project and you now are bringing these characters to mind, it makes me think of a Broadway show that we could write a show just around, just around that experience and the characters that were involved, because there were some very unique characters.
We would need an animal trainer.
Yes.
For the parrot.
Yes.
Yes.
There was a parrot involved. I forget about the parrot. Yeah, that was wild. Oh boy, I should have been journaling during that time, because there were some very funny things that happened.
Yeah,
might be worth going back and kind of recreating that. So shifting gears just a little bit, sustainability is a huge, that's a part of everything right now. How does that work into what you're doing?
That is very important. But sustainability, that word, I think, I don't know. I don't want to say it's been hijacked, but it's such a broad meaning that I want to think of it different.
Oh.
So I want to talk about stewardship.
Okay.
So I feel like if we talk about stewardship from public land or agriculture, I think people know what that means. It means care for the place, care for the land. So I like to think about, when I'm doing design work, the stewardship of the place. So it's not reality that a place will never need maintenance or care or investment ongoing, right? So stewardship is this little bit of a shift in mindset. Like, well, let's think about who's going to care for the place. What's it going to cost to care for the place? And can we design to support that moving forward for a long time? Yeah. So sustainability, I think some people think, well, do a design I don't have to maintain. Well, I don't know what that is. Right? It's like,
I was like, I'm going to lean in here. What is that?
So, I don't know. Concrete. No, that needs maintenance too. So I think, sustainability, super important. We can't create unsustainable places.
Right.
From inputs, if you design a bad planting design, then it's going to be this huge maintenance burden to the owner, right? Or if you use poor materials, the wrong materials, if you're creating outdoor space for people, it needs to be a space where they can spend time. The worst thing we ever do is design space, and then you watch the owner immediately trying to correct things and add shade or get this done right. So sustainability, stewardship, is critical. And I think it's just about thinking like, who has to take care of this?
Yeah.
Can we set them up for success? And then those decisions, those choices seem to shake out.
Yeah, I'm thinking about, in particular, we have a store that has a lot of crabapple trees, and the crabapples fall and make a huge mess. And I was literally just talking to the manager there, and he was like, is there any way we could get rid of this tree? And somebody else was like, well, it provides shade. And he's like, I don't care at this point. Like it's such a mess and it's such a hassle. And I was thinking about that. I'm like, who decided that was a good idea in the parking lot of a retail store to have, and it's like right by the front door. So it like just, so there are tripping hazards and ankle rolling hazards. And like, it's just, it's not good.
It's smeared all over your shoes.
Yes.
Tracked into the building.
Yes.
Not worth it.
No.
Cut it down.
Exactly.
Great tree, wrong place.
Yes, exactly. Well said. Well said. All right, I hope that you're okay with me asking this, but I want to get personal about before we totally shift out of landscape architecture here. But I am wondering about your own home, because as a Zamzo, like people in my neighborhood know I'm a Zamzo, and they will get on me when they see that. And right now, there's one part of my yard that isn't beautiful. One is absolutely gorgeous, but the other side of my and it's for a reason. We're going to plant wildflowers there next year, and we let the grass die. But everybody's like, oh, Zamzo, look at you. So people probably know in your neighborhood that you're in the profession that you are. So what's the design of your yard and garden like? Are you
right? The pressure is real. It's real, especially if you have like a new employee that comes to your home to have dinner or something. There's big expectations there. But yeah, the neighbors know what I do. My friends know what I do. So they, just because I'm a landscape architect, they assume I'm a turf maintenance professional and a master gardener, right? All these things. We have a beautiful yard. I do spend quite a bit of time taking care of it, especially the front.
Yes.
That's visible, right?
Like everybody.
I also have a place that doesn't look great, but you can't tell it might be the neighbors. When you look at the house, it kind of is on the neighbor's side by their front door. So I think we escape that a little bit. Our backyard has become a total like refuge. It's beautiful. It's shaded. We've taken out most our lawn.
Yeah, you and I talked about that.
I only have to buy the program every other year.
Yeah, it's perfect.
But I feel like every time I go to the store and they're like, do you have the program? I always feel like I have to explain why I'm not. Like there's some pressure there. Like, well, no, but let me tell you why. The program is double and I only buy it every year, and they don't actually care, right?
Yeah.
They just need to know if they need to hit the 10% off button. We feel the pressure. We work really hard on the yard. I'd say my wife is the biggest critic and proponent of having a beautiful yard, because she wants to spend time on the back patio.
There is an
to
interesting
rest and recharge.
Yeah, there's an interesting. I don't know if pride is the right thing, but a satisfaction of your yard when it is a certain way, and it doesn't. I know sounds very anti-Zamzo, but it's not. It doesn't have to be lawn.
Right.
There are lots of different ways to, and that's part of the reason why we're turning this side yard of ours into wildflowers. I want cut flowers. I want to be able to, and I love wildflowers. It's just I love the idea of that, and I've seen lots of people doing that. I'm like, I can do that. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of obsessed with like the forest and the Oregon coast and those kind of spaces. So I'm always experimenting. I'm trying to create like an Oregon forest in my backyard. That's not going to happen ever.
Right.
But we can try. We can do interesting things, and I like stumps and logs in the yard. That's a thing. A stumpery garden.
A stumpery.
Yeah. Look it up.
It has a name.
Seriously, it's very popular in the UK, and it's all about having stumps and like driftwood and that kind of thing in your yard.
Okay. I feel like stumpery is a good word that can be used for a lot of different things.
Zamzo is now offering the stumpery kit. Right?
Oh, my mind's going wild with that word. I love it. I'm gonna have to incorporate it into lots of different things. Okay, totally switching gears. I want to talk about the culture at Land Group and some of the things that you're doing. I just want to start with the fact that I was out of town, so I wasn't able to attend, but my husband attended something that you guys had called Brat Bash.
Yes, the Brat Bash. Love it.
He, first of all, he really enjoyed his time with you. He said you guys really had some great conversation. But he said it was really just a fun gathering and you were eating brats.
Yeah. So a little bit about the Land Group. So Land Group was founded in 1988 here in the Treasure Valley. David Koga and Phil Hull met. They were working for Franz Whitty, and they had both gone to the U of I and gotten degrees in landscape architecture. And they decided they wanted to start their own business and kind of expand what they were doing beyond residential design. So they start the company. And very early on, they located in Eagle. So we've been in Eagle that entire time. And early on, they really wanted to thank their clients and the people they work with the Brat Bash. So we have this company party every year. My favorite part of it is the clients are great, but my favorite part is that the families are also welcome to come. So this is one opportunity where I get to see the kids. Because Christmas parties, just bring your +1. We set up a kid zone where we have like Play-Doh and bubble blowing and crayons and things like that. But it is a great party. Live music. Clint said, your husband said that the hot dog, the brat, stood up really well. His quote was, "Those are the exact ingredients that belong on a hot dog."
Ah. Interesting.
Yes.
So meaning the toppings, the actual.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the toppings. Yeah.
So I'm guessing he's like a mustard guy. So what else was on there?
They had mustard, sauerkraut, onions, and that may have been it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is a big hot dog guy.
Yeah. So I think Land Group. So I kind of hate this when companies say, "Oh, we're like a family." Because I don't think that's true. Like families, you have to do a lot of crap you don't want to do, right? It's like
better than families.
Work, we choose to go, I hope. But I think we really respect each other. We respect the fact that people have a family, and we want to create a work environment or a culture where, you're an employee, you work here, but you have a life beyond that. And that's equally important, or more important, really,
right.
Than the job. So we're gonna be flexible. We're gonna allow you to live your life. When life interrupts work, we're gonna be patient with that. And then we're gonna have a couple gatherings, a few parties, where we celebrate just the fact that we get to spend time together, and maybe not talk about projects too much at the Brat Bash. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Get to know people. You get to know your client beyond the project. That's really important.
Yeah. It's interesting. At various times, at Zamzo's, the culture is kind of, it shifts. It ebbs and flows. And there are times when it's like rock solid and other times when it's, less so. And I find that the relationships, the individual relationships, and what happens in between Brat Bash and the next whatever, or else they won't come to Brat Bash.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about that, because I know that that's one of the things that you have made a concerted effort to do is to do coaching and things like that with your staff. So can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course. I think you're asking about mentoring and coaching, and I don't know if obsessed is the right word, but I am really committed to this idea of mentoring. And I don't know any other word for it, but it doesn't mean just I'm more experienced, there's a less experienced person, I'm going to go meet with them. It's more about all the people in our office having an opportunity to go outside of the office for a moment and have a conversation with somebody who really cares about who they are, right?
Yeah.
So for me, mentoring, what it's about, and this is I didn't just come up with this. This is kind of my thing, right, that I promote, is I want the person to start to understand who they really are. And then I want them to become confident in that. Like that authentic self, be confident in who you are. Now, the most successful piece, and when I get really, or feel really rewarded by it, is now we move that authentic self into the work we do. And that's when a person's like super passionate. They're working with like, their work feels purposeful. And the land group becomes like more valuable to the client because we have these new perspectives. The land group isn't the Dave and Phil group, and it's not Adams and Associates for a reason. It's the land group because we are this collection of people, and we hope the land group just outlives all of us, right? So I want to try to expand all these people so that they can be the land group also. But Callie, when you feel like, okay, I know who I am, and I'm confident enough to bring that person to work and put it into how I talk, what I draw, what I do, that's a great feeling.
Yeah.
It can be hard. When you're young, I don't know. I think you have to actually grow a little older for that to happen. Like I'm going to be 50 next year. So this is all new for me, this idea of like, oh, who I am everywhere can be the same.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty awesome. So I can meet with younger people and say, this is a goal. This is something to move toward.
Yeah. I feel like young people today are better at it than we were.
Oh my gosh.
Like
I agree.
So I feel like at a younger age, they're getting there sooner. Because I definitely, I mean, there are times even now, and I'm pretty aligned now. You know, it is, you'll see, if you see me wherever, the same person I'm driving, give you the same bird that I would if you were. But you know, there are times, particularly under pressure, where all of a sudden I feel I've got to be something else, and I have to kind of like remind myself, and it doesn't just hold. But I look at my daughter and I'm like, man, she's 100% more authentic at her age, at age 18, than, I mean, not me now, but certainly me at her age. It's amazing to see that.
Yeah,
It's
I agree.
a good thing.
My kids, very similar. New employees, very similar. And I tell you, some of us that have been around a while, not everyone loves that as an employer. Some people think, oh, these young people need to like conform. They need to pay attention, listen, learn how to be. I don't really buy that. I think if you can bring that person's self into what they do, they're going to work so much harder.
Yeah.
The work they do is going to be better for
They're
you.
going to bring ideas.
Yeah.
They're going to feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah. If you got to remove all the stress and anxiety, and then a person can be their best selves and do the best work.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite a process. So have you had have there been particular conversations that have shaped you maybe more than it shaped the person you were? Like, have you walked away going, wow, I think I got more out of that than they did maybe?
Yeah, yes, all the time, right? And it has nothing to do with age.
Yeah.
Because I've done mentoring with people that are older than me, all the way down to kids in school. Because we have an internship program.
Oh, cool.
And we mentor. Each of the interns gets an assigned mentor. And then you do 6 meetings with that person. And the topics have nothing to do with design. It's like self-doubt, purpose, authenticity. We talk about these like human emotional type things, right? I had an intern, Allie, who was so thoughtful and shared like deep, thoughtful, personal things in this mentoring process. So she really opened up and shared things. And that's where I was like, wow, I'm really learning from this kid. So I better listen.
Yeah.
And now we stay in touch. She's working in Boston. And I really care what these people want to say. Mentoring for me is not a lecture. It's truly a conversation. We like have a topic and then we try to discuss. Mentoring that doesn't go great is when there's just no engagement on the two sides, right? And I think that's just maybe just not a great fit sometimes. It doesn't mean it's like a bad employee. It just means not a good fit.
Okay. Huh. Yeah. Well, I love it that you're doing that. It's fantastic. And you're doing so much beyond you and the company. You also involved with, you volunteer. So you're involved with groups like the Food Bank and Jesse Tree and St. Vincent de Paul. And That's a whole
Right.
chapter of things that you're doing. Tell me, just give me a little quick about that, and then I have some other questions that I want to.
Well, I'm really proud of that. So I really believe in relationship building. That's clear
Yes.
if you've listened to this point.
Yes.
But I think for me, that's built on a kind of a foundation of service. So I'm kind of into this idea of service to others. I believe that because I think every human deserves to be treated with dignity. Everybody. So even people you don't agree with,
Yes.
which is not always easy, right?
the
Or
harder
people who
part.
are different than you, and that you encounter that a lot in life. So this idea of like, well, how do you treat people with dignity? Well, I guess it just is the basic, like everybody should have food and shelter. So that's where my wife and I have decided to spend our time and our money is Jesse Tree Food Bank, St. Vincent de Paul. St. Vincent de Paul is great. I get to work at the food pantry once a month and meet, interact, and see the neighbors that come through the line. So,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
that really kind of energizes me.
It does, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, I feel, and sort of aligns our purpose and reminds us why the hell we're even here,
Well,
right?
and how lucky I am, right? There is no difference between how hard some of those people work and me. Some of it's just luck, circumstance. So everybody's on the edge all the time, I think.
Yeah. Boy, that could be its own podcast.
Yes.
I'm going to have you back on just to talk about that.
Recurring guest.
Maybe, yes.
I'm up for it.
All right, very good. Well, so I'm going to take a quick moment to thank our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Zamzows, your local source for garden, pet, and planet-friendly products. Like great design, we believe in the power of connection to people, to place, and to the experiences that make a community feel like home. Visit Zamzows.com or stop by one of our 12 Treasure Valley locations.
Nobody knows like Zamzows.
Now is the part of the show that we call Sharing is Caring. It's really just rapid fire questions that don't end up being that rapid fire, frankly. So we'll make our way through it here. So are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay. What is a local spot that always recharges you or sparks creativity?
Ooh, I like that. Perks of Life, the coffee shop in Eagle. For me, that's where I gather often with friends and people I want to talk with. I do a lot of mentoring there. And for me, coffee is kind of a community thing.
Yeah.
So I go to Perks when I need to be recharged and reset.
And I agree with that. That's we've met there several
We
times.
have,
So
yeah.
it's a good place. Okay. So how about a book, a podcast, or a quote that's been resonating with you lately? But I have to quickly just let our listeners know that we talk about our books are something that come up between the two of us
Yes.
quite a bit. And the last one that you recommended to us is so big that we haven't even cracked it yet because it's so massive.
Right.
So I'm wondering, yes, give us one of you, and I guess it doesn't have to be a book. It could be a podcast or a quote.
I'll tell you about that book. I have a quote. I don't have it memorized, but I really like to read it.
Okay. Yeah.
So the book is The Power Broker, though.
Yes.
And it's all about New York and Robert Moses, who is a very divisive figure in New York from the early 1900s through the 60s. It is a book you read over a year. And it is a book that you got to be careful. You don't want to throw it at anyone or
Right.
drop it.
Yeah.
'Cause it can hurt people.
It's a big daddy. And we will
It's
be
4 pounds.
we will be reading it. We promise. We just haven't had a chance to. You gotta pace yourself with these things
Right.
when they're that big.
It's an amazing book, and it's all about development of space and how it affects people. And everybody should dive into that book.
Yeah.
if
Well,
they
and
get a
it's
chance.
New York, so that's where my heart is right now. So.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So a quote.
I have this quote, so I got to read it. This is a quote from George Bernard Shaw, who's an Irish playwright. He says, "This is the true joy in life, the being used for a purpose recognized by yourself as a mighty one, the being a force of nature instead of a feverish, selfish little clod of ailments and grievances, complaining that the world will not devote itself to making you happy. I am of the opinion that my life belongs to the whole community, and as long as I live, it is my privilege to do for it whatever I can. I want to be thoroughly used up when I die, For the harder I work, the more I live. I rejoice in life for its own sake. Life is no brief candle for me. It is a sort of splendid torch, which I have got hold of for the moment, and I want to make it burn as brightly as possible before handing it on to future generations.
I don't want to be the one to talk after that.
Isn't that beautiful?
That's so beautiful. And also, if you wanted a second career in just, in reading things, you'd probably be the person who reads books and do audiobook things. You've got a great reading voice. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate
That quote is fantastic. Beautiful.
I came across that a few years ago, and I love it, and I read it to myself often, but I've never been able to memorize it. Maybe that's okay.
Well, you do challenge yourself to things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just I'm thinking about the ukulele when you learned
That's
how to
right.
play that was it your son's wedding?
For our son's wedding,
Yeah.
yes. Learned a song,
Yeah.
played the song in front of 50 people.
Yeah.
I was more nervous for that than I was this morning for this.
Well, that's apropos.
Right.
Okay, last question. A person or mentor who's made a lasting impact on how you lead.
So I might feel a little emotional about this. So David Koga, one of our founders, he passed away in March this year. And David was a great mentor. Dave was put everyone else first ahead of him. And I think what he really taught me, so David believed everyone was important and had value. But what was exceptional about him is he made you believe